Hey y'all, boy, the sky's sure looking pretty. Nice to be home at an hour when I can enjoy a little sunshine versus the work week. Made a pretty good day out of it here on the old place. I'm always anxious to find new items and things. Looks like that one's ripe. Yep, sure is. So I posted this on my personal timeline. We got half a dozen of these trees out here in the old pasture just growing wild, and looks like it's a Kiefler pear, I believe is what it's called, wild deer pear. I'm gonna vet that out all the way, but they are edible when they start dropping. They're hard as a rock right now. A lot of folks thought it might be a wild persimmon, but they're a little bit too small for that. So maybe we'll figure it out though. We you know, this is gonna come as a shock to a lot of my close network and friends, but funny how time changes things and gives you a reason to appreciate different things. Here in a minute, when we go to the chicken house, I've got a very special thank you and shout out and appreciation for the pop bro country that dominates the airwaves today. Yeah, that's right. Got a whole new appreciation for it today. We've been battling this old chicken hawk or two this week, and it's actually a couple of different varieties of hawks that have been on the place. I saw a couple this morning, and they pretty much used the chicken house as a McDonald's of sorts, and decided that the snakes and the mice and the rabbits and all the critters in the pasture were a little bit too hard to catch, so they focused in on that chicken house. And been a rough week on me not being able to protect them, and I think I've got some things in place that'll do it now. But I didn't realize how bad the loss was, and I was able to stop and count head this morning, and we've lost 60 chickens, 40 of which probably in this last week. So it's definitely a problem, and it's a protected bird, so it's not about killing the bird. It's just trying to find preventive ways to do it legally. I'm watching one right now. See if I can show you here. Of course, let's see, he's sitting up there. See if I can zoom in on this thing. Wait a minute. Well, come on, video. Anyway, big old red-tailed hawk. I always love that line in that Alabama about red-tailed hawk sitting on a limb, but I got other opinions about it this evening. Anyway, I think we've got them on the run. Got a birthday on the place today with Jordan. Turned 21 today, and man, all my kids so proud of them. And that one, Jordan's still living with me here. Been here or with together, I guess, for several years now. And boy, we've been through some things, but not he and I as far as at odds, but just life and different curves, having to learn to adapt and adjust. But life is good, and God is too, and we've learned to really appreciate small blessings. I'll tell you, proud of that dude. Well, let me take you out here to the chicken coop, show you kind of what we come up with after collaborating with a few folks. And I've actually put I think a fail safe that I'm watching that old hawk. I've got it fixed where the babies won't get out. I think that's really what he's after, even though they're getting on up in size. Let's see here what we got. So we've got a big gap in the top of the chicken house here from an old storm and limited funds and old country boy living. I don't have the funds really to repair it with tin. So my good friend Miss Donna calls me Wild Man all the time. See, there's some feathers right there from a past attack, but she suggested running some chicken or some line across the top of the gap there, so we did that and confirmed that with my cousin who's in the wildlife industry out in Florida. So I hope it's enough. I may need to put a little bit more crosshatch on it, but I took it up a level, and this is where the country part of it comes in, the hat tip to country music. My background in it is, well, I guess I can go into a long story. I'll try to keep it short, but I fell in love with radio broadcasting back in probably my freshman and sophomore year in high school there in Huntsville. And of course, a lot of us do this, play DJ in your own room with your stereo and all. Well, I took it to the next level and decided I wanted to be a DJ, and that meant getting a job in the industry with no experience. Pimple-faced at 15, I thought I could do it. And I rode a bicycle up and down old hilly I-45 feeder roads in Huntsville to KSAM, and beat on the door. Didn't know no better, so I just assumed I'd get the job. Well, started off as a joke for those that were in the industry. little kid coming in there wanting to be on the radio. So they put me in a studio, you know, the recording studio. Man, I thought I was in the big times. He told me to read the phone book till he told me to quit. Thought it was a little odd, but I went ahead and did it. An hour later, he said I'd go on home and come back tomorrow. Well, I didn't know no better. Man told me to come back tomorrow, so I did the same thing. That went on for about 3 or 4 days, riding that bike back and forth, thinking I had some job when it was a joke all the time. But funny how life works, and the joke was on him because he saw the persistence and gave me a shot on the overnight drive. And had a good time with that for a few years. Thought I wanted it as a profession until I saw everybody older than me that had been doing it for 30 years. Didn't have anything to live with. Had been through 4 or 5 wives and several heart attacks. And it's like, I don't know, living out of a box, that wasn't really what I wanted to do. So I changed careers. A few years ago, I had an opportunity to kind of go that route again. I've settled into knowing that made a big impact and continue to do so, but it's going to have to be at a hobby level and not necessarily an income level, and that's okay. But I set out with American Crossroads Radio to, you know, kind of preserve our way of life, you know, the last 100 years, the memorable things that make us a good people. And I kind of nested that around country music, and I've got a love for real music of all kinds, pure to its genre, and have an appreciation for the heroes of country music. Now, a lot of my colleagues being on the road, interviewing different ones, you know, this whole bro country, pop country, new country, it's a fun argument that everyone has and laments, and I fought to preserve the good stuff and did a pretty good job at it and still am. But I appreciate those guys. They figured out a way to make some money rapping, and that's all right. So it's kind of a pop country thing for me. But I never listened to any of them, didn't play any of them on my station, but I did figure out a way to use them and their music in a really good, positive way to save these chickens. Because I don't imagine most of these names have seen a chicken yard of any kind, other than maybe a sterile one. Look at there. Florida Georgia line. He's repelling the hawks for me. This old shiny CD, I figured why waste the others. There's Sam. Let's see, can you see that? Sam Hunt. Who else we got out here, Jordan? Oh yeah, this one's really doing a good job repelling the hawk. Kane Brown. It's like old Luke Bryan's hanging up over there. So I figured this is an old country hawk because he's figured out a way to get around things. So he probably won't like any of this music on these CDs hanging up out here. So it's just another layer of protection, right? So there you go. Thank you, Pop Country. You're gonna help save my chickens. How about that? And that's about as close as I'll get to giving them a hat tip of any kind. They've got their own music to make, I know, but not really for me. It's good for hanging up in the chicken yard, I think. Hadn't had no attacks today. And that old Jesse, he's up in that pine tree still out there, but I think he's not coming any closer. Must have seen those CDs. Huh. Well, Jordan came out here. I guess he shied away. Sorry, running a little long. We're about to go have a birthday dinner real quick. I've got a good little campfire over there built for this evening. I think he and I are just going to sit out there and enjoy that. I thought it'd be cool to take that with his team never quit attitude. If y'all remember, we had that old stump called Team Never Quit. Never quit stump over there when we first started clearing the place. It's still a standing. But I took one of the pieces that it broke off of it. I think we'll burn that tonight. Just kind of a fun time. Well, Jordan, everybody's saying happy birthday, so you're going to have to tell them hi. Hello. Say howdy. Boy, isn't he a camera attractant? I don't know. He said, I'm hungry. He's ready to go eat and celebrate his birthday. I kind of agree with that. So, anyway. All right, well, y'all have a good evening. I think we're on the mend with these chickens. Hate we lost so many. Boy, that's a heavy hit. Something that's actually can produce and make a difference, I guess, on the table. To just be food fodder, I guess. There's plenty of old snakes out there that I wouldn't mind losing. Maybe that old hawk will start doing that. Next thing I know, old snakes will be coming up here wanting me to tie a Luke Bryan CD on their tail to keep that hawk away. That ain't happening. Anyway, y'all have a good evening. Be the light. It's all right to laugh about things and have a good time, isn't it? y'all enjoy your Saturday evening, and I'm looking forward to going and eating with this knucklehead and sitting down by the fire and just talking about stuff. Y'all ever do that? Just talk about stuff? Oh, I guess I got to read everything off real quick. Hang on. I always forget. There's my cousin on there. I'll sure tell him, Jason. And there's Peggy from Alabama. Let's see. There's Sandy from Tampa Bay, and Joanna's on. Thank you, ma'am. I'll tell him. Hi, Ladina. How are you? And, oh, my buddy Jonathan, all the way from Ireland. Hey, buddy. How are you? Looking forward to that trip to Texas you're planning. You'll have to come see these old chickens. Remember, they're freedom chickens. That's another reason I don't like any of that music out there. Thank goodness they ain't got to listen to it. It just hangs above their head and keeps the country hawk away. There's Brenda. How are you? And Lisa. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Gotta love Texas, and I sure thankful to be in Old East Texas, enjoying the fruits of even the chickens and the wild pears. And, oh, just see my tomato protectant. I think I saved most of them, so we'll be good. We got Jordan's out here looking at the broccoli and the Brussels sprouts. They should be making here pretty quick. Got a few carrots and lettuce as well. They survived the frost. All right, that's enough. We got any Brussels sprouts on it yet? No. It's gonna come up out of the middle there. There's one starting to make. All right, y'all have a good evening. Be the light. Make a difference. It'll matter. Even if it's a small ripple, it's a ripple just the same. Good night, y'all.